This conference will now be recorded.
Mayor and Council meeting. Could everyone please rise for the pledge and invocation?
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Let's pray, please. Dear Lord, we thank you for all the many blessed things that you've given us. Oh Lord, we still pray for those people out in California. Help them that lost everything in the fires that they had. We pray for the families that lost loved ones during the airplane crash and helicopter crash in Washington. We also pray for the families of the people that lost their lives in Philadelphia with the medic unit that crashed. Lord, be with all of us. Guide us, keep us, let everyone know that you're there to help them in times of need. We ask you that you guide us through a godly manner as we make the decisions towards the town that affects the town's people and the town itself. We ask all this in Jesus' name. Amen.
Amen.
Looks like all the council's here tonight. Has everyone had a chance to review the January 2025 meeting minutes? If so, do I have a motion to accept?
I sent him a couple small minor corrections, so I'll make a motion to accept them with the corrections.
I'll second.
We have a motion and a second to accept the minutes with some corrections. Any questions? Hearing none, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, the same. Abstained. Motion carries. Treasurer's report, Tony.
Sure. So at the end of January, the general fund had a balance of $3,472,764.10. Some of the highlights, we collected $26,224 of real estate tax payments, and we still have $59,223 remaining to collect. I'm just rounding these off. Personal property tax payments received totaled $4,681. November 2024 hotel motel taxes received totaled $3,477. Received funds from the restricted funds to reimburse the general fund for money spent on grant projects, $75,000 for the National Road Museum bathroom, and $28,066 for the EDC feasibility study. January 2025 local tax payments received total $4,230. October 2024 highway user revenues total $46,923. And we also received our FY25 Q1 state aid fire police protection totaling $10,805. We also received CP&P grant reimbursement for Schaefer Park Path Phase 4 totaling $2,576. And we received DGS 22-674 grant reimbursement for the wastewater treatment plant project totaling $14,487, and that is due to the sewer fund. Restricted funds had a balance of $354,512.66. Only action there was a transfer from restricted funds to the general funds for the monies we spent on grant projects, which I just talked about earlier, for the $75,000 on the bathrooms and $28,066 on the feasibility study. Certificates of deposit had an ending balance of $2,390,006.29. We had CDs at Fulton Bank totaling $263,604.20 at the end of January. Just let you know, both of those CDs came due on February the 5th. I have since already cashed those CDs out because we know the situation with Fulton. Our local branch is going to be closing. So those funds were already deposited into Middletown Valley general fund just to hold there until we make a new investment policy, how we're going to move forward. Middletown Valley Bank Schaefer Park CD Balance was $56,402.09, and our investments with Wells Fargo totaled $2,070,000 at the end of $70,000 at the end of January. We also had a money market account balance with Wells Fargo with $18,487.03. Our water fund had an ending balance of $1,301,303.10. Couple of highlights for the month: we received our FY24 quarter 1 and quarter 2 administrative fees from Keedysville totaling $54,874. Our collections of water and sewer and sanitation was $419,944.31. We paid EADS Group their final invoice for part of the GIS lead service line inventory totaling $3,000. And we paid WRA their 9th invoice as part of the Crestview bypass project for design and engineering totaling $4,810.65. After that invoice is paid, we have a balance of $38,098.56 remaining on the contract. The water fund user fee restricted balance at the end of January was $2,638,568.19. And the only activity there, we paid Washington County for the grading permit utility bond for the reservoir project totaling $95,400. Our American Rescue Fund plaque, American Rescue Funds Act balance was $2,362,145.79. We did pay WRA their 32nd invoice as part of the reservoir replacement project for design and engineering totaling $813.82. After that invoice, we only owe about $1,475,000 remaining to bill on the original contract of $315,000, not including a couple of change orders, one for $50,000. We also paid Arrow for RPR services for the reservoir project totaling $1,525. Our sewer fund had a balance ending of $354,424.19. The only thing that we had there were interest that we received for the month of $1,210.42. And the sewer fund restricted fees account had a balance of $307,055.41, and the only action there, again, was interest of $777.98. That is everything that we have. I'm sorry that it takes a little bit longer, but it is really nice to have this recap every month. That's my report.
Just be careful, sometimes you're reading any bank balance versus the general ledger balance. It's like outstanding checks, so
Okay.
what we have available is your general ledger balance.
Okay. Thank you.
Back up there a minute, Tony.
Yep.
There toward the end, talking about something. I'm sorry, I didn't read that.
No. I get, no, I'm sorry. That invoice, after that, there was $1,475.25 remaining on the original bill of $315,000. Yeah, my bad.
And I think Brian might have typed that wrong. Actually, this is the WRA piece, not the Arrow piece.
Right.
Okay,
The Arrow piece was down here,
yeah,
paid for reservoir project, so it was like $1,525.
right. That's the one that I pushed back to them, but they did not give us the backup. They just sent a bill and I wanted to know what it was for.
Oh,
I said, okay.
Okay. all right, thank you.
Is there a reason we don't put the link for the treasurer's report on the website? Would be something we could start to include, I mean, it's public information.
I guess only because we never did, it doesn't mean we can't.
Okay, any other,
I know we sometimes do it
discussion.
late.
hearing none, do I have a motion to accept treasurer's report?
I'll make that motion.
Have a motion, do we have a second?
I'll second.
Have a motion and a second, any other discussion? Hearing none, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, the same, abstained, motion carried. Ray, doesn't look like we got any
No,
guests
sir.
signed up, but we do have a guest. Sir, would you like to stand up and introduce yourself and your guest that's with you?
Good evening, I'm Ian Stan with Troop 20 in Boonesboro, and today I am here working on my citizenship and community merit badge. And I'm very interested to hear what we have to discuss today.
Okay. And if any time if you got any questions, hold your hand up and we'll try to answer the question for you. And who's your guest with you?
This is my dad,
And his name?
Will Stan.
Thank you. Welcome.
Thank you.
Take care. Good luck to you. Okay, we'll go to facilities reports, Public Works, Greg?
We'll start with the walking path. They finally came and put 3 inches of stone down. They still got 3 more to put down. If anybody wonders what all that stone is down there on the basketball court. And once they get that down, then they'll come back in the spring and blacktop it. Unfortunately, they did put a whole bunch of hydraulic fluid on the parking lot down there. I don't know if anybody's seen it. The guy was sweeping and never even saw it leaking, and he messed. You can just get out and look at it. I sent out an email to the owner. I tagged Rachel in it. So hopefully they're gonna come down and make it right.
Yeah.
Or we're gonna be right back the way it was
Maybe
before.
our parking lot
Just got
like,
fixed.
when's that to happen?
I don't understand.
Yeah, that's a shame.
For the snow, we hauled away 376 ton of snow away from storm drains and the sewer manholes this last winter storm we had. We have used about 115 ton of salt so far this year. We're getting ready to have a whole bunch more. This month's supposed to be bad. It's supposed to be one of the worst ones out of the year.
You still good?
How
at
are we
salt?
on the salt?
Yeah, we're still good. We'll make it to the end of the year. We're fine. We'll just make sure we just have to buy some for next year. On the sewer collection side, we had another backup up here on Orchard Drive between Orchard and Fourth, that same manhole that we're having problems with. So it's obviously somebody new moved in up there and they're flushing something down the toilet that they're not supposed to. It overflowed out on the ground again, probably 10 gallons. I documented it. It ain't very much, but we put lime down what we're supposed to. Called Roto-Rooter because we don't have a flusher, so Roto-Rooter has to come down and get it out. It was so thick sludge, you couldn't even tell what was inside of it. So we keep having problems up there. And then on the water side, everybody knows about the leak up at the school. We lost a whole bunch of water. We don't own any of the water lines on that property, but I was up there just trying to help them shut the mains down. Because nobody knew where that one was. So I told Pete, I said, you call me, you let me know when an emergency, when it has to be shut. I'm gonna kill the valves on the Burrow side. That's what I told the superintendent from the school.
Yeah.
He said, well, you can't shut our water off. We still have school. I said, oh, yes, I can. I said, if you're getting ready to make the reservoir go down, you're messing with the fire protection for the whole town.
That's right. Yeah.
So we did run around and help them get shut off, and they got it fixed.
And hopefully you taught somebody how to do it.
Well,
It's just, there's so many new people up there. It's,
Turnover.
yeah, the turnover. I mean, they ran a 6-foot hole with no shore wall with nothing. I'm standing there watching them, and my mind's just like, none of this right that they're the way that they were doing it.
Well, Greg, thank you and your crew for the job well done on the streets during the snow and the ice. And tell Ernie and Ron they did a good job on the restrooms.
Okay.
Paint job. Very, very nice job. That makes a big difference. Those rooms are a lot brighter now with that light blue. Yeah, very nice.
It is. I saw them today. They look good.
I do have a question about snow removal. Sycamore Run, like, as you go in, is that common area? Do we have to shovel that? I know.
We do shovel. We go out and do the sidewalks.
Okay.
We do.
That's our responsibility.
That's our responsibility. Anywhere there's a common area or a mailbox, we have to take care of,
Okay.
unfortunately.
Okay.
Because it wasn't turned over to HOA.
Okay, that was my question.
Yep.
I wondered if that was our responsibility now.
We straightened out with the Catholic Church how close they want us to plow to the curb.
We can't get no closer than that. The problem was that the contractor that does the Fulton Bank, took their snow blower and ran up the curb. So that they exposed the curb and it looked like the town of Boonesborough went down and cleaned that curb off, and we did not.
Okay.
We can't get no closer. We stay about 6 inches away. Them plows are fiberglass to the side.
Yep.
You start rubbing the curb, you're gonna wear the plow and it ain't no good anymore. So I tell them I got 6 inches.
We get you on here from the church, because the landscaper does the snow blowing for the church itself, part of the EDC, and contacted me, just concerned about offering a place to put the snow, clear forward, clear center. They said, welcome to put the snow in your grassy area. I don't know if it's worth anything to you, but they want to make sure, I guess it was closed. Apparently it wasn't plowed at one time. The parking spots on Ford in front of the church weren't plowed, but.
We plow them, but we keep like 6 inches away
Yeah,
from all curbs in town.
Okay.
We don't get no closer than that. Because what happens is then they call higher, and because we shoved it up on their sidewalk.
Yeah, okay, that was a concern that they were plowed next to that when stop sign is on Ford.
Yeah.
As opposed to being plowed up on center. So that's what they were asking, and they said you can feel free to put it in the grass, right, there's no curb, dump it in your grass, and they don't care.
We did have a bunch of problems with people throwing snow out in the street. There is an ordinance for it. So I asked Drew, maybe next storm he could come in, because I told the guys, I said, don't even stop and talk to the people anymore, because they're good. As soon as you do it, it's a moody confrontation. They're ready to argue and fight with you every single time. So we need somebody to come in that can start handing out. I got pictures of some of this stuff, but they're blowing it out and setting it dead in the middle of the road after we pushed it off.
Well, if you have addresses, why can't you proactively send a letter and say, hey, you know, this
It's
is-
snowing tomorrow.
I know,
so don't-
but I mean.
I mean, I'm just saying,
I
here's
know,
your
but I'm
letter.
saying, you know what I mean, just say, hey, this is the town ordinance and it causes, you know, a safety issue.
It's very
or-
safe. Because it freezes once we go home at nighttime. We don't say it, we come back in the next day, you can't get it up.
Mhm.
It won't come up with the road.
Well, for what it's worth, you're all doing an excellent job.
Thank you.
Very good.
And we're always gonna have one or two.
Because people
here.
don't know. Some people just don't know. It just doesn't, they just don't know how they've been told.
There's some of
Some
them.
people just.
Unfortunately, you gotta push the snow to the side of the road.
That's exactly.
So when you do it, it blocks the driveways. It is what it is. It's like they do it at my house, they do it at your house, everybody else's house. It is what it is. We can't stop it.
California.
Oh, we can find it.
Thanks a lot.
You're welcome. That's it.
Anybody else have any questions for Greg? Pete?
Start with the water side. Pretty much everything on the water side's running smooth, all but the spring pump that we pulled a couple months ago over there, they finally figured out that it can't be fixed. So we had to order a new one down, and I think it was like 26,000 for that, somewhere in that price range. And on the sewer side, been having quite a few things been happening with the sewer plant and the pump station. Start with the pump station. We finally got the new motor put in over there and the piping done. And then I had the M&M operator come up, and we took the two old pumps that we had in there and made one good one out of it. So now we've got two operating pumps at Route 34 now. So that's working good there now. And then we've had a few things happening at the sewer plant. The decanter and number one SBR is, I guess, it's 15 years old. It's starting to wear out. Been having some problems with the mechanical parts of it. So order some of them today, and I'm gonna try to replace them when they come in, hopefully after the snow melts off. I got it temporarily working every once in a while. It'll give us a fit, but for the most part, it's working. And then today, at the end of the day, we're getting ready to go home. We got a run for a pump. So we had a pump failure in SBR1 wasting pump that had a seal failure, so we had to take that out and put the other one in that we just bought. So it was good when we had a new one put into place of it while we get this one fixed. And the rest of it, it's all been running pretty smooth. And for the well, I forgot to say, Brian has been back. They got pretty much all the material down there to get it done. Now they're just waiting on a part to come in for Jeremy from Antiem Electric and the panel that they needed, because they're gonna have to put in a whole new VFD and all. The other one that's in there now is not big enough for it, so they had to get the one that they got with the pump to go and put in. All that has to be installed, so they have to have a special gadget goes into the panel to operate it. So as soon as that gets here, we're gonna come here and finish it. Hopefully, it should be here this week sometime.
Good.
Everything on that, we're doing good with everything else.
Thank you, Pete. Anybody have any questions for Pete? Here, town manager, Rachel?
On February 13th at 10 a.m., Legit is coming out for property and liability inspection. They're going to be looking at the town garage, town hall, the police station, the community center, and the trolley museum. Yvette mailed out letters to the residents that would potentially be affected by traffic changes for the reservoir project. We don't really have anything definitive to tell them yet because we don't know if the road will have to be closed or if it's going to be a flagger, but just to give them a heads up, things were going on. We already had somebody call in. Did you call the police department today?
I haven't gotten any calls, no.
Someone called in and he was very concerned about how fast people come down, and he was wondering if there would be police presence and stuff. So he said he was gonna call you guys.
Do we have to get one of those, like, you know, traffic pattern signs or
I think
road
the
closure? Are they gonna
contractor's
do, will
responsible
the
for
contractor
doing
do
that.
that? Okay. just the-
There's a whole series of signs and detours that they have to put up.
Okay.
The difference that's happening
Just if
is
people go, you know, cut across there for work, so they're gonna be.
our contract told them they had to flag it.
Okay.
They're requesting from Washington County to actually shut the road down completely during two specific construction periods. And to do that, they have to get approval from Washington County. Well, you all know, when you talk about closing that section of road, there's no easy detour
No,
around
it's
there.
pretty extended
I
around.
mean,
that's
if
what
you
I'm saying.
grew up
The way
here and you know the
people
roads,
here,
you figure it out. But if you don't know where you're going, you're really gonna get kind of lost. So there's been a lot of back and forth between Washington County and the contractor, because Rachel basically told him, said, look, if you want to pursue that with the county, feel free, but our plan says you flag it. So we're still waiting to hear from them.
That's okay. I submitted the final reimbursement request for our ARC grant funding. That was for the Schaefer Park well replacement. I haven't gotten it yet, but I submitted it. So when that comes in, it'll be $56,651. We were approved for $50,000 for the FY25 facade grant program, and we still have FY24 funds as well. So please share this opportunity with people you know who have street-facing properties. For FY25, we're also going to expand the eligibility. Currently, it's a 50% reimbursement, but if you fall into the low-income criteria, or if you're a senior citizen, you can be reimbursed 100%. So that will be new for FY25. We're hoping that maybe that'll help spend it down a little better, but yeah, just tell people about it.
What's considered senior citizen?
That I don't know off the top of my head.
You and me, Terry.
Dalmatian.
Normally it's 55 and over, Terry.
I just wanted to say one other thing. You guys probably already know, but we really have good staff here. I mean, Greg and his guys have pulled a ton of overtime lately. They've really been coming in and keeping everything safe. Pete faces constant challenge, some days more than others. They keep everything going. They don't have any trouble. If we need the police for something, they're there in a second. It doesn't matter if it's something simple or not. They still come in right away. Drew has an ever-growing list of priorities, but he juggles it with a good attitude and keeps us entertained. And in the office, Brian, Yvette, and Kim are just, they come in, they do their work, they're self-sufficient, and it sounds like, well, obviously they should, but you don't have that everywhere, okay? Everyone comes in and they just kind of do their thing, and if I have to interrupt them and ask for something, they help me with no issue. It really makes my job a lot easier that I can depend on everybody. And it's everyone. It is across the board. We have great staff here. So.
We do.
Well, I couldn't agree more, and you are included in that.
Yes.
I can't believe she didn't include the great council.
Well,
You did give her the bad chair tonight, right?
That's why.
That was a sacrifice.
that's something. I do have one question, maybe more for Greg. You started out with saying the jit's coming in,
Yes.
and they're gonna look at the maintenance shop,
The town garage.
yeah, whatever the heck we call it. What about our leaking roof? Are they gonna flag that, or?
Today.
If the snow's on top of it, it's melting, she's definitely gonna see it, because it's bad when the snow sits on top of it, but it just depends. This is a new girl. I've never seen her before. It's always been the same guy that's come out every single time. He's always been good with me. They're gonna find something. They always
I was
do
gonna
that
say,
for the
Bruce
job.
has been on the insurance company list lately,
Well,
haven't just gone.
Look at it this way, if we get a finding or whatever it would be for this, it would help justify the funds that I requested to build a new building. So
That's it, we could build a new building cheaper, and we can fix that.
Oh,
maybe we want her to see the leak.
Absolutely.
Maybe we should point it out to.
Maybe we should point out the mold.
Do you want me to point out some stuff at the police department? Because there's some stuff.
Other than this building.
Never seen one. Not buying it till I see it.
Thank you, Rachel. Anybody have any questions for Rachel?
Well, I have a question about Chase 6, but I don't know whether that's in your report or Drew's report. So tell me when I should wait.
Feel free.
Probably, but
Just go ahead and.
Well, do you need the council to go to bat with getting, it seems like the school board's dragging their feet or
It's
staff
not the
dragging
school
their
board,
feet.
it's not the school board
It's
right
staff.
now.
Okay.
No, it's not
Okay.
staff either.
Not our staff, I mean,
Oh,
their
okay.
staff, the board.
No,
members.
it's,
Okay.
it's neither. It's,
Okay.
has B&R gotten back to you yet?
Yes, they have.
Okay, so at this point now, the meets and bounds had to be changed, so some additional things had to be incorporated into the MOU.
Okay.
So it's not that they're dragging their feet, it's just that every time we think we make progress, we have to take 2 steps back, so it's just slow.
I just wanted to make sure we
Well,
are,
thank you.
if you need,
Right.
some advocacy, we're here to help advocate to get.
I believe that,
Hold on.
I believe that time may come.
Okay.
One of the concerns that, Rick at B&R Group, now, I'm just backing up just to restate things. So the developer of Fletcher's Grove was required to do the full design of this intersection, of which the design company was B&R Design Group. Rick was the lead engineer that did this. All the plans have been approved by state highway, but you do have to submit the formal plans for signature. He's having some difficulty getting that. So we have a conference call tomorrow, and that's what we're gonna be trying to push forward. And he said, look, I might need some help. I said, sure, let's exhaust everything on our side before we sick Howard on him. Because, I mean, you know what I mean? And we don't need to necessarily go that route if maybe we can get their attention and keep moving things along. So there's a lot of pieces. That's the Board of Ed side. You also have the Mr. McElwee side where we've got Josh and him talking about the building, exactly what he wants. I'm talking with Potomac Edison about getting electric power there. So you've got pieces going all
Yeah, I
like
know,
this at the
okay,
same time.
And
So-
I know, trying to keep one happy, that's why I just was making sure there wasn't feet dragging, or it's not their priority, but it's ours, and having to get everybody.
I can't say that I don't, that may happen, but let us make sure we've exhausted everything on our side before somebody comes back and say, well, you guys didn't tell us, one of those things.
We took care of the tree situation last Monday night.
Yeah, I mean, these are the little things in development. We had to go to the Washington County Planning Commission to get a waiver on a tree that's right in the middle of where the new road's gonna be, but it's over a certain diameter, so it's a special tree and we weren't allowed to touch it, so we had to go get a waiver. But we got it, and that's great, but these are the steps that we go through to get all the approvals.
Any other questions of Rachel? Hearing none. Town planner?
Not a lot going on in the zoning world. Last month, in fact, there weren't even any building permits issued. The big thing on the planning side, you have my report, so you have the details. I was approached by Wesley Posh with Verdant Development Corporation. Some of you may know his father, Tom Posh. They ring some bells for some people. He's a developer out of Frederick. He started working with the Flooks, and then has reached out to the Lakin family. I don't know if he's reached out to TT&K yet. He was going to. What his idea is to put together all of those property as one giant master plan, going all the way from Lakin, where we annexed Lakin, all the way through TT&K, including Fluke's property, as one master plan. Because what Tom, when he looked through, he goes by Wesley now, but when he was younger, he went by Tom, but he said the only way that anybody's ever going to be able to build Warrior Boulevard is you're going to have to make it part of a much bigger overall plan, or it's not going to work. No developer is going to be able to saddle 100% of that cost. But if you spread it out over a large project, over a 20-year time period, where you can issue some TIF bonds and some of those type of things, you can do it. And it also makes the planning a lot easier. He has the zoning. I gave him the information from our comp plan. But just letting you know, it doesn't cost us anything. It's not, I'm just, he's out there looking. It's his dime, it's his efforts, it's his whatever, but just letting you know that that's out there. Still getting lots of feedback from engineers and appraisers for the McDonald's site over in Fletcher's Grove. They're going through their letter of intent period where they're studying things, so I'm being asked questions. Your code does not address outdoor seating. Is outdoor seating okay? Yes, outdoor seating is okay with proper protections from traffic, blah, blah, the standard thing. But they're asking a lot of those type of questions. So No one said no, and they keep asking questions, so I think it's moving forward. I don't know how long of a study period they have, but I know that's been on a number of people's mind is McDonald's coming, is it not coming? I did the Fletcher Grove HOA asked me to come to their HOA meeting, I talked to them.
Hey, you
The
had
first
that-
question I
May
got,
have been talking, yeah.
the first question I got was, how could you possibly let a McDonald's come into town? I'm like, guys, that's not how zoning works. We're not allowed, we don't get to say who comes into town. We can just say a restaurant can come into town. We don't talk about who's allowed, who's not allowed. I have to tell you, a lot of people believe that we do get to choose that.
Yeah, I know.
I mean, a lot of people really do believe it's our choice as to who comes in, and it doesn't quite work that way. But other than that, there's kind of lots of permits behind the scenes. You have Dean South is going to move forward. It will move forward this spring. That is going to happen. I don't know what's happening with Battlefield Estates. They have all the permits necessary, so I don't know what their holdup is.
Have you heard anything more from Highs?
They are still going through the permit process through Washington County to get signatures and to get their grading permit, but it is moving through the process.
And Duncan, same thing.
Dunking probably isn't going to do anything until Easter days get asphalt down. They've got water and sewer there now, but they don't have a road yet. It's just, I don't even think it's all
Doesn't
stone
Hive
yet, is
need
it?
the road as well?
I'm sorry?
Does Hive need the road as well?
No, they're on the other side.
Okay.
They're on the other
They're
side.
next to, they're in front of.
Yeah, I know, I just thought they had to have the road. Go ahead,
They'll have to put the connect to it.
okay.
Yeah, the other day I was out by Wise and somebody was out there, a surveyor, putting little red flags around on the grass. Is
It's
that-
an empty field.
That's Miss
Yeah,
Utility.
that-
Yeah,
is that
yeah.
Miss Utility?
Yeah, we got utility tickets to mark out there, so the red is Miss Utility.
Okay, good. I was wondering where that was McDonald's people or who was out there.
Looking for the hamburger.
Yep. Anybody got any questions of Drew?
Well, sure. We can't let him off the hook that way. So Drew, you mentioned construction anticipated in the spring of 2025 for Dean South.
Uh-huh.
But we're still on board with nobody builds anything until that road's complete, right?
But just their side.
Just their side or the whole thing?
No, their side.
Their side, we
Their
can't
side.
hold them to anything else. That's what their side.
You're holding Draper accountable for the road portion,
Yeah,
but the road, the extension of Chase 6 to the right-of-way line of State Highway, Dean South, Richmond American Homes is going to build.
Okay. Well, that may not be how I had understood that in the past. And number two, I don't care personally, but if we get enough people in here at a public hearing about a site plan for McDonald's, that could be another discussion, right?
If I were you, if I were the planning commission, I would advise, and I will advise the chairman to be prepared for a large turnout, to be prepared for a very large turnout.
Good enough. EDC's been discussing potentially having some kind of a public meeting with that if it comes to.
But look at the jobs, look at the jobs it would bring to town and part-time work for the kids out of school.
But seriously, there's nothing you can do about it, right?
What's that?
If they purchase the property,
if
There's
it's an
nothing they can
allowable
do.
use and they meet our requirements.
If they follow the zoning, you can't stop, you could stop them, but they could sue you and they would win.
Yeah.
Okay,
that's what I meant.
but think about a business. Why would you want to go into a town that they don't want you there and you had to fight it to get through? You have a market to offer to them, but I don't think you're the highest market that they're like, yeah, we're gonna take this on the chin because we're gonna make $50 million a week because there's 8,000 cars that drive by. We're not that big of a market. So I don't.
Let's see,
I just hope
about 4,000 or 5,000 people. Maybe 20 people don't want one there.
Yeah, but you
they're
don't
not-
know.
But the same people would be happy if it was out there at the other end of town.
Well, I tell you what,
I heard that.
we can all take a little bet. We can take a look at the people at the public hearing that complain the most, and we'll see who goes to McDonald's the most.
That's what
And the whole thing is in line with the concept of the comprehensive plan too.
Yes.
Outside of town,
Zoning, everything.
it's commercial there, commercial there. I mean,
And the interesting thing is, the neighborhoods themselves are not integral to Chase 6 Boulevard, meaning it's not running through they all attach to it. But the way that commercial area is designed, people that are not in the town of Boonesboro or live in the town can quickly come into town once the road's in, right?
Yeah.
Grab their McDonald's and get the heck out. They're not going through neighborhoods or going through all these different town streets. So, yeah, I get it if you don't like it, but by the same token, it's not like it's gonna choke Main Street or anything like that, so.
It's not gonna create any traffic problems.
Don't forget, they do pay taxes.
Yes, they do.
Tell the police department is gonna keep an eye out for the hamburger, not a problem.
Well,
Thank
I would throw in there, the chair of the planning commission has said, if people in a public meeting come in and speak enough and complain, that they take that into consideration. And I can only say that years ago, when the guy beside me wanted to build 70 three-story townhouses, that got turned down because there were enough complaints. So I'll just let that there.
Well, that, and I think Ole
That was like
put the icing on the cake when he asked him, could they purchase a new ladder truck for the fire company due to the fact that their current ladder truck wouldn't reach the height of his townhouses that he wanted to build. And he asked Ole how much a new ladder truck would cost, and way back then, I think Ole's told him like about $300,000. He said, no problem, I'll buy you a new truck. Ole said, that's fine. But he said, now I have another problem. Our current fire hall will not hold a new ladder truck that high. And he said, could you build us a new station? He said, I withdraw my request for the townhouses. So,
But it was supposed to be for senior citizens.
yeah, they were.
No,
That was before that. Yeah.
Oh.
Ole came prepared that night, and I think that put the icing on top of the cake.
Yeah, I helped raise it.
Yep. Thank you, gentlemen. Police department, what you got, chief?
But, Greg brought it up about ordinances. Is there fee, do we have an ordinance and fee manual? Like that we can enforce noise and parking and, does that exist or?
So we don't have a noise ordinance. That's one thing that we get a lot of calls about.
We use the county.
It's written in the ordinance.
We use the counties. Normally it's, no power tools before 7 a.m. and after 9 a.m. Lawnmowers, power equipment, heavy equipment, unless there's an emergency. Like Greg and them would be out running, pumps and everything at night for backups and all like that.
But I mean,
What about
we
parking?
have an ordinance book,
Okay,
but it's not like listed like I think you're
Yeah.
asking.
like we had one in Hancock that listed fees and everything, and that's, and the money went to the town. We're stuck now, the only way we can give a parking ticket is to run it through E-Tex, which goes to the state. Which doesn't make much sense to us because, and again, I know in Hancock, it might have been a $10 parking fee, but if they were parked with one in a meter, and I know we don't have that, but if they were parked in a meter and they took it right to town hall that day, they could knock it down to $3 or $4 or whatever. So, but it just gives the guys another tool to use when we're dealing with a bunch of parking complaints. And especially around here, it's usually people parking in the wrong direction of the street. I mean, we have a citation we can use in E-Tex, but it just, to me, it would make more sense if the town benefited from it than.
So you wanna have, like, we don't have currently a municipal infraction
Right.
manual, and if we write a civil citation or something, is that on a county citation or
That would be county.
the county have? it?
Yeah. Yeah.
And we can have we can have our own municipal infraction
Yes.
citation. We
Can you get somebody from
Yeah.
Hancock showing what they
Yeah,
charge
that's
for
kind of
us?
what I was gonna, if you guys were okay with me reaching out, and I'll just give Rich Miller to send me the ordinance book down, and then you guys can look at it. So,
That would be a good idea.
And what was he referring to about the noise ordinance? What was you?
well, in Hancock, like if you were playing a radio in your car and we could hear it,
Oh, okay.
if it was audible outside the car, like we could make a traffic stop and tell somebody to turn the radio down. I think that was like even a loud muffler. I mean, that's, it was like 50 yards or something. If you could hear the muffler, it was like a $25 fine or something.
Be aware
It
that the
just-
state has a bill against
We-
being
we
able to
should-
do that.
we should be under code. We should be under Washington County with that too.
We can
Okay,
have our own.
Right.
We're all having our own, we should have our own. Not that I want to be the snow shovel police or anything like that, but there are,
Right.
it's another tool in your
yes,
book, that you can,
yeah.
hey, this is the real thing.
I agree.
Yeah, I agree.
I just.
I agree as long as we give people like a warning.
Well, I mean,
Like, I don't want
That's
it to
discretion with
be.
everything.
We
Well,
give-
I know,
we
but
give
repeat offenders,
95%
but,
yeah.
If
I
somebody
mean,
gets
you
a
know what I
snow-
mean? I
a
just
snow
think if somebody
citation
pulls in
there.
front of their house parked the wrong way,
That's the way I feel.
I don't want them to get a $50 ticket the first time. You know what I mean?
We would never.
I'd like them to, get a, hey, you're really not supposed to do that, so don't
Well,
make it a
they
habit,
did,
the next
Mary,
time they
they-
catch you.
Did you all go around and put notes in all people's
I thought
cars
there
that were
was something
parked?
to
We
tell
did.
people
Yeah,
about
we
that.
I'm just
to warn them
saying,
that
we
you
got
know,
young-
you don't wanna be-
We got Young Avenue fixed in like 2 days.
Yeah.
Just by talking. I'm just saying it's a nice tool to have.
Yes, yes, but you know,
Especially when
situation,
the out-of-state
you
tag is
know,
like
It gives
Coca-Cola
us
or
something to
Yeah.
make them accountable,
You
because
see
you
it
can
3
get
days in a
the
row. I think Somebody
ignorant
called us on
people that
South
won't
Main,
do it, they'll just
called
argue.
down there from Florida.
So it gives you
Doing
an
that for like 2 or 3 days, and I mean,
now,
that
South
would
Main would have to fall under state, or does that fall under us, because it's a state highway, that's, I don't know how that, like, are we allowed to do parking tickets on Main Street?
I don't know
Even
why
be a
we
state
can't.
highway,
I mean,
or, I don't know, because I think
I
there's
know what
always
you're
a
saying with the
question
state.
about that, I think we've asked that before.
I guess if you go outside of our town boundary, no, but if you're in our town boundary.
See, I didn't
I would
know,
say
you know
we
what I
could.
mean, I
I
don't
mean,
know.
Main Street in Hancock's owned by the state too, and we enforce that.
Okay.
So,
Get a copy of it.
I will.
This also adds to, it's a notch in the probable cause chain. If you have some reason to stop somebody now for municipal infraction or to talk to somebody,
yes,
and you find out they're an axe murderer,
yes.
there's probable cause. So I mean, anytime you can get contact, have reason for you to have lawful contact with a citizen, it doesn't mean you go out on the warpath, it just means this is another tool in your belt.
Yep.
Well, just be aware, that's on the list of things that MML sent us about, there's a legislator not wanting you to be able to pull over for it.
Well, it was like throwing trash out.
Well,
the
that's
window.
why
Yeah,
we're
do
doing
that.
read that, right?
So I really feel
Oh,
like,
really?
I
Yeah, that was
really doubt
one of
it
the
gets-
things.
well, just
You never
it's
know.
something to watch, because that does impact in ways
I saw
people
that
don't
too.
think about it, to make sure
Well,
we are.
And literally,
Monday
it's a civil
comes, no
citation.
passing.
Exactly, and that was
Yeah.
one of them, taillights out, license plate, like, any
So
of
they
those
didn't want
things.
it used as a primary? you
Correct,
couldn't-
you could not use
Right.
that as a primary.
Yeah.
That one, that's got loser written all over it.
Yeah.
That is a.
Well,
law.
just
I know,
remember-
Merrily, there's
Yeah,
gonna be
Where
a case
we-
law. Let that happen.
Yeah, that's,
I don't
welcome
see
that.
too
There'll
many
be case
people
law.
hanging their hands out the window, making handstands.
Just saying, it's one to watch that we may want to, make sure we're lobbying.
I watch it with
Against
enthusiasm.
it, yeah.
I really don't think it'll pass, Mary Lee, but you never know.
Well, in Maryland, it might.
It's one to,
Stranger things.
It won't
advocate
get past the
against.
Supreme Court.
Yeah, get that information for us, Dave.
Will do.
Please.
Our guys, just whenever the question comes up, just so, our guys are very interested in working the carnival this year. In fact, they would like to because they just have a vested interest in working the carnival. So I know in the past they've paid
Working
the
out
county.
in what? What, peel potatoes or something?
I'll be there to help move. Yeah.
They want to volunteer.
All of them want to do
You
it.
shouldn't have to do that, Carrie, Ricky.
I asked them last week and all of them are looking forward to it, so.
Well, as long as we have coverage, I don't see where it's a problem if the rest of the council doesn't know.
Okay.
So what, are you talking about working as a part-time gig with?
No, I mean, they pay the county overtime, so
I know.
it'd be nice if our guys could get the overtime, because we really don't have overtime outside of that.
Do we have a secondary employment policy? Have you created one, or is there one?
We do have one, and it's up to the chief to approve it.
Okay. Chief discretion?
Because Kevin always had 3 jobs, so it was up to the chief.
Yeah, no, we ever got one, but Kevin. did
This
all
chief's
part-time.
not working 3 jobs, I can tell you. So, but no, it's, I think it'd be nice for the guys to earn some overtime, and for whatever reason, at the or the primary election in November, we weren't asked to work that. We were asked to work the general in May, and we did,
Right.
and we weren't asked to do the November. And I mean, that's, It's $85 an hour for these guys. I mean, you know, it's
So
just,
you want, somebody probably should let Mary Jane know.
Well, I just told Amy here that I'll send her her
Mary
email.
Jane,
and
yeah,
everything.
Thanks,
you know what I mean, so that she doesn't reach out and make
Yeah,
the other
thanks.
residents.
yeah.
Now, if you need more.
You guys
you can
first
reach
shot
out to
if it
somebody
works
else
for
first.
anything.
It's all stuff first.
Yeah, offer to your guys and then you probably still have to go to the county, but yeah, absolutely.
And then Sheriff Allard is working on getting us deputized and allowing our guys to work overtime at the school. That would be another way for them to earn overtime, you know, so.
Is this like the school resource officer or?
No, at these sporting events.
Okay, yeah.
So they get 4 hours a night up there, so our guys, if they would wanna pick it up, they can get 4 hours a night, so. And I sent you, everybody the email on the cameras, so just something to put a thought in your mind for 26 budget, so, you know, we'll talk about that in upcoming meetings, I'm sure. And really to reiterate what Rachel said, Greg has saved us, I wouldn't even begin to guess, thousands of dollars since I've been here. Fixing our cars, fixing our lights on the Taurus that didn't work, fixing my front headlight, I think twice in a week's time, which would probably cost several $100s at a shop. And allowing us to wash our cars and keep them looking decent in the wintertime in his heated shop. So, I mean, so just thank you, Greg. I can't-
you.
Yeah,
Anytime.
can't thank you enough for
It's good to see departments working together.
it. Yeah, it's awesome. And like Rachel said, yeah, we're very blessed. I mean,
We are.
it doesn't happen everywhere that people work like they do down here and come to work happy. I mean, it's just a pleasure to come to work. And James, I'll let you, I mean, if you have anything to add to that coming from DC. I mean,
The Lowe's car, that has to be low.
Yeah, it's a great place to work, and all my coworkers keep reaching out to me, like, hey, how's it going up there? I'm like, I have zero complaints. The town treats me well, the department treats me well, we have a great community. It's a great place to be.
I was downtown today at the ATF headquarters and it was a miserable group of human beings.
Yeah, I can't imagine.
I did have a question,
Yes,
Debbie,
ma'am.
worked out anything like for your internship? Or give me thought or ways
I
to,
think we're gonna do it as a, like, I talked to Ray after the meeting last month, and I talked to him at Billy's event there too a little bit, and I think we're gonna guise it as a cadet, like a mini cadet program to be available to sophomores, juniors, seniors in college that need it to complete a college completer, so something to that extent, Mary Lee, yep. And I've worked up a cadet program before, so I've just mimicked the MSB's cadet program, so I'll get that in line.
Did you do that at the high school, at the technical high school?
We did. Yeah, when I went there, we did internships. And then when the state made the an apprenticeship and made them get paid, we lost them because I would send them to the state's attorney's office, to the public defender. They don't have a budget to pay, you know, and you know, so we lost everything. I mean, one year I sent 4 down to Antietam Battlefield. Antietam Battlefield loved it because they used them to help with tours and to clean up and, you know, it's gone. You know, just in a wave of a pen that all of a sudden students had to be paid. That'd be nice if they could, but to take away the fact that if you just had an internship that didn't pay and students still wanted to do it on their own, I don't, you know, why they took that away is beyond me, but they did. So.
Anybody else have anything for Dave? Thank you, sir.
Yes, sir.
Mayor and council correspondence and update. Anybody have anything? Just a reminder to everybody, please remember next Monday is President's Day. And that's a federal holiday, so town hall will be closed next Monday.
Maybe, many of us have been contacted about Fulton Bank closing.
Yes.
I took it upon myself to write a letter.
It's very
It's gotten around. I got a call from upper management at the bank and so did
I
Howard.
got a call too.
So, I mean, just to let you all know that we've tried, we've pretty much been told it's a done deal. But if you get any calls, Kim or Rachel, the mayor and council have expressed their opinion.
Displeasure.
Yeah,
It's she told me it's 99.9% sure that it's gonna be closed. And nothing we can say, and I know she got a little upset with me, but that really didn't bother me. She was telling me about all these branches in Frederick, Dual Highway, South End Shopping Center, all the people from the town of Boonesboro that deal with them banks. And I said, well, ma'am, Frederick, we have a lot of people working in Frederick. So therefore, they know they're not gonna get home before you close, so they stop at that bank on their way home. And I said, as far as the one in Dual Highway and the one in South End Shopping Center, I said, Boonesboro 21713 goes clear out to Beaver Creek, to Death Curve, and over to Fairplay. So how can you say those people are from actually Boonesboro when they're not from the town limits, they're from the surrounding area? Well, I beg to differ with you, they're from Boonesboro. I said, just because they have a 21713 doesn't mean that they live in the town.
But again, like you said, if they leave for work before they open, they come back after they close, they do it on
They
the
do.
lunch hour or they're, while they're in that area.
They have branch managers that if a person comes in one time from another municipality, they claim them as their customer. And they turn that in on their sheet, so it gives them bonus points.
I told him, Nelson Baker was pulling his millions out of the bank, and that didn't do a thing either.
Sorry, gotta do it.
It's the original bank for the town. Give back.
Well, if you're local.
You need a place to
Howard,
put
what,
those millions, I can take care of
Just
it.
for clarification, and I don't understand, what's a creek?
That is what.
A waterway.
creek?
Is that a body of
That's a
water?
The creek.
Oh,
I'm sorry, I'm from.
that's okay. You said you, something you wash it. You wash it? Okay.
Woodard.
Even outside of the.
I know, he doesn't. My mother was from West Virginia. Okay, moving on. New business, request to renew auditing firm for fiscal year ending June 30, 2025.
So our contract with, or our agreement with Albright from Backer. It's getting late. We have the option to extend that instead of having to, seek another company. So the price will be the same throughout as it was last year. It'll be the same price through 2027, so it'll be $21,500. We just need approval to extend that instead of seeking a new company.
And staff is happy with them.
I'd make a motion
Well, hang
to
on,
extend.
sir.
Hold on.
One thing that I was gonna bring up, come on, wait, actually. Remember, there's this additional $15,000 cost because we're using federal money.
Yes.
So that would be 15,000 over and above the existing
But
contract.
that would be
That's-
different. Yeah.
It's a separate audit.
But it's
Okay.
not like
That's not-
Albright
yeah.
is charging us something
No.
insane. That's
Yeah.
gonna be wherever we go.
No,
But
Jason
we'll have
just,
to budget
yes,
for it.
yes.
But yes, I already did.
Well, you're on top
So may I make my motion?
Yes, sir, I'm
Okay.
sorry.
This is just continuation of our normal audit, like
Yes.
we're doing.
Correct.
Not anything to do with that additional audit.
Okay. So I'll make a motion that we extend our current contract.
I'll second.
No motion and second to extend the contract. Any other discussion? Hearing none, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, the same thing, motion carries. One thing under correspondence, I forgot, I'm gonna pass this around. It's a thank you and a picture from the Boonesboro High School We the People team, thanking us for our donations. So I'll pass that around to you all as we continue the meeting. Okay, next item is request to renew 2025 mowing services. Optional, extend one additional year terms.
So similar to the auditing one, we have the option to extend our agreement with Getter's Lawn Care. It will continue to be $1,165 a week, which comes to $32,620 a year.
And everybody's pleased with them?
Absolutely.
Oh, absolutely.
There's nothing, no new parcels replaced, because we have to add.
No, he actually had a Sycamore rental last year and didn't
So
charge
that-
us for it.
Okay.
So I called him again and he said everything's staying the same. I don't have to babysit him, so I do check on him every once in a while, but not once a week like I would have to most people.
So, Mary Lee?
Well, I can make a motion then to go ahead and take the optional extension of 1 year on our mowing
I'll
service.
second it.
Okay, we have a motion and a second to take the mowing service to extend the one additional 1 year option. Any discussion? Hearing none, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, the same, abstained, motion carries. Request for sponsorship, Washington County,
Environmental.
Enviroton.
Oh, my.
So the Envirothon reached out, the Washington County Envirothon will be April 3rd, 2025. They didn't ask for any specific amount, just that the deadline is March 10th. So I guess they're just asking for whatever we would potentially want to give, if anything. The only thing I'll point out is that we don't budget a lot for donations, and typically we support things like Boonesboro High School,
Yeah.
Boonesboro Band. This is the county, so I'm not saying don't support them, just we only have limited funds for donations, so.
We'll have some comments.
700.
Seven.
Yeah, 700.
I have some comments.
Yes, sir.
Can anybody tell me who Washington County Soil Conservation District is? Are they a government entity, or are they a nonprofit, or are they activist group, or what
You
are
wanna jump in there, Drew?
What are they?
The Soil
Washington County
Conservation District.
Soil Conservation, they got a .com address, is it a government entity?
Yes,
Or is
it's
it
a government entity.
It is a government, quasi?
Agricultural Department, the Federal Department of Agriculture. The soil conservation was established out of the Dust Bowl in 1930s and promoted different ways of doing crops and things like that. Soil conservation kind of generated out of that. But it's now morphed in the state of Maryland into protect Chesapeake Bay, gets into all the stormwater management and all that kind of stuff.
Right. Well, their goal, conservation education, and having a competition here for their marathon, it's high school students that want money for t-shirts, awards, lunches, and transportation. I don't think that's really a Borough issue for me, so I'm not a fan of it.
Well, I do think though, it does have a farm plan. I think the people that.
And I think Boonesboro does have
We
a
do have
team
a-
somehow.
Boonesboro does compete in the
They do.
Envirothon. Brooke did it several years. So
We have
Boonesboro
a
does
team.
compete in it.
Well, have we given to them before?
We gave them 100 last
I
year.
was gonna say, I think that this has been on the agenda
I
before.
mean, we still have $700 left and we have less than half a year, so it's up to you, obviously. I'm not trying to sway you.
Well, we would continue with our current president. We only give $100 to any of these organizations. We never go over that amount. So,
That's what I would say,
Yeah,
continue
so-
with precedent. I would just say, I do know we do have farming area
Sure,
community, and this
we
is
do.
a farm thing that they do.
I mean, I'll make a
But other
motion.
than knowing more about that, I don't know.
I'll make a motion that we donate $100 to the Washington County Envirothon.
Do I have a second?
Second.
A motion and a second, to donate $100, for a scholarship for Washington County Enviroton. Excuse me. Any other discussion? Hearing none, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, the same.
No,
Abstention. Carries with one no. Thank you all. Next one, we have another, a request for sponsorship for Washington County Commission on Aging.
So the
That's
commi-
the one.
What?
That's it, that's the one.
So the Commission on Aging is having their third annual gala, Light Up the Night on Saturday, April 5th. Tickets are $1,000 for a table of 6 or $175 for individual tickets. We do not have this budgeted. So I think that should be taken into consideration, but you don't have to buy tickets to support it. There is another option where you can, do a sponsorship package, or you can donate silent auction items valued at $100 or more. So I didn't know if you guys would potentially want to donate $100 and tell them to buy an item for the silent auction, if you wanted to, I mean, I guess you could buy something in one of our local businesses that's at $100, but then the other businesses might get upset that you didn't get it from them. So just throwing out suggestions. You wouldn't have to buy tickets.
So isn't the Commission on Aging who we let use the
Yes.
community center? So I kind of feel like we're giving them community support by not charging them to use that.
Like, that's our contribution.
That and I
I kind
haven't
of feel like
watched
the
the
$100
last,
is really out of our budget.
I haven't watched the last county commissioners meeting.
Oh, they get a
where
lot of money.
Where they were presented and they didn't have a very good presentation. They asked a lot of questions and they weren't able to answer the questions. So I think they need to get their funding outlined and come back better. So I'm not, like you said, Marilyn, we already donated the community center. So-
I'll make a motion, we pass.
Okay, I'll second that.
We have a motion and a second, not to donate. Any other discussion? Hearing none, all in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, the same. Abstained, motion carries. Yeah, we give them, the use of the building, we don't charge them. for
Right, and we
Electricity,
cover
heat,
all the
or water,
insurance
or
and
any
Paying
of
for
that.
that building to be clean, so.
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay. Stormwater management ponds.
That's me.
Okay, sir. Floor is yours.
He's been so quiet.
So it sounds like a very simple question, but it may require more discussion. If you look around town, the town owns a number of stormwater management ponds. The town has also required new developments to have HOAs and to take over the maintenance of those ponds. My question as we are moving forward with these new developments, as things start to move forward, what is the policy of the mayor and council of Boonesborough? Is it that developments must maintain their own HOA ponds? Meaning the development has to take care of it, those people that live there, they maintain it? Or does the town take over deed to the stormwater management pond, once built and accepted, and then we maintain it in perpetuity?
That's giving more work to Greg. I see.
I like part A too. First of all, we don't have enough employees to take care of every, stormwater management pond that's gonna be built with new development. We would have to add more employees just to take care of the mowing and everything.
We push them off to the winter time just to maintain them, and the county actually come down and gave us, sent a letter, Rachel a letter saying we had 60 days to comply to their fixes. I'm like, are you kidding me?
I was gonna say, they're in the area checking them.
So I mean, what?
But there's apparently a new guy who's
Yeah.
very
Yeah.
able. So
He made me put a trash rack on one back on Thompson's Court that was built back in the 90s. The thing's been there for 20 years and it ain't hurt nothing. He made me change over a $1,500 trash rack. $1,500 for the state. I'm like, what's wrong with the thing that was there? The water catcher that was there, there's nothing wrong with it. It's been there since the 90s. Well, this is what it says in the book. So this is what you gotta do.
Greg, I saw him down at the police station in that water area down there in the fall.
He checked them all, but he only hit us for that one. He hit us for one out of Crestwood where we had
They were
the
taking
Feel
pictures of it.
same thing, trash rack. He gets for both of them trash racks on there. They had dewatering devices on, which is perfectly fine. But he didn't like it. It ain't what's in the specs, so he made us change it. It cost us like $1,500 a piece. We're three grand into it.
The reason I asked the town manager to put it on the agenda,
Yeah.
there is nothing in the planning documents, in subdivision documents, anywhere in any town document that states what the position of the mayor and council is. So all I'm looking for is if it's that easy of a decision for you, I'm just looking for a motion so that I can actually document it in the planning part. Because this really doesn't go to the planning commission, because this has a monetary impact on operations. The planning commission can recommend anything they want, but the planning commission doesn't approve the money to maintain things. I don't think the planning commission really would want to maintain any of these either. I thought I knew the answer to the question, but I just wanted to ask it officially, because then when somebody comes back to me and says, why do I have to do an HOA? It's the policy of the.
But who does the two out there now?
We take care of all of them that he was just telling you about. So when they built Sycamore Run, instead of making an HOA, they turned it over to the town. There's 17 ponds out there the town has to maintain.
Well, I'm talking about out here Fletcher's Grove.
Fletcher's Grove is owned by Wise, that's HOA. Somebody was smart enough to put them in HOA.
And that'd be HOA.
Yeah.
Yeah, do like our development.
That's what you need to do. Any new
I know
developments,
Sycamore.
my recommendation is put them all in HOA.
Yeah.
I'll make a motion. Any new development,
the HOA has to take care of the stormwater management ponds?
Well, I don't think we want to, well, I guess I have to wait for discussion, but I'm uncomfortable making motions like that without it kind of really being fully disclosed on a, an agenda like that. I feel like it needs to be a
Well, it's on our agenda.
policy.
There
Yeah,
is a
but not
policy,
that
right?
all
Not
future
saying we
development
get
has to be HOAs. I mean, you know what I'm saying? I'm just saying.
Good, same way you did Fletcher's Grove.
Just write it the same way we did with Fletcher's Grove, right?
I mean, I can write something up and we can bring it, there's no urgency to this.
I'll
It's
tell
just
you what.
something that all the developers are asking me,
Yeah,
you
I
guys
feel
take
like
over
we
the
need to-
ponds.
Why don't you write something up real formal for us and bring it to the workshop, and we'll discuss it at the workshop.
Okay.
How's that sound?
Perfect.
I mean, I just feel like if you're gonna pass something of magnitude, you need to let
That
all
makes sense.
parties know.
And
This
It's not
way we'll
fair.
have it all drawn up and we'll make it formal.
I can't disagree with what Meredith said.
Because I know some people don't like, because we had the discussion about getting rid of Crestview HOA, you know what I mean? And everybody out there is happy, so I just feel like we need to be cautious
If you
how we
write something up
approach
for it,
this.
then we'll know exactly what you're looking for.
Right, but the draft that I'm going to write says that the town is not going to maintain them.
I'm happy with your staff recommendation that we bring to discuss. I just feel like we need to have a little more, advertisement out there, not that anybody will come. and
Well, an
get
actual
it, but-
document that,
Yeah,
you
you know what I
can
mean?
see.
I
It'll be on the
just, like,
agenda.
I had no idea what we were talking about under that topic, so I couldn't expect someone else to know,
Sounds good. Everybody agreeing?
Did you hear a motion?
There was a motion.
I'll rescind it until he brings us the,
Okay.
We're good.
I would just say, Howard, this was actually sometimes when I bring up as part of my plan, but, and with respect to Mary Lee, I don't disagree. But I don't like the idea of great guys having to maintain these.
Oh, I don't
things.
either.
Because to me, just in my weak little mind, I keep hearing about all this development, all increases tax base, increases tax base. This is the first one of 1,000 things that will have us going to have 3 more guys to maintain these students.
Right, but I'm just saying we need to be careful, we make sure we do something covering, our bases, because we have some developments without HOAs that we are maintaining and some with.
That's
So
because of
we're-
the staff turnover you've had in the
I
last
know,
20
and that's what I'm
years.
saying, so we've got both
That's exactly
situations
right.
going on in town, so we wanna make sure we do it
Very inconsistent.
correctly,
Yep.
so that we don't get ourselves, challenged.
Well, perhaps we should look back in the beginning, when,
Yeah.
when they were put in, the old ones were put in, and see what was, drawn up then. I mean, it could be for all, of them, everything out there.
It is.
Needs out.
Yeah, we don't touch
So
it.
we shouldn't have to worry about it.
Right, but we have ones, but what they're saying is, but we already have ones in existence, we do have to worry
Well,
about.
we had
There were no
to.
HOAs.
We-
And so we're saying, to go forward, I just feel like I just feel to me for transparency.
I get it,
we
but
should
I'm
have a
still
little more
thinking
detail
that
on a
it should be
agenda
in
so
there.
people know.
It should be still drawn up in the original plans.
But it also doesn't hurt for us to let our county commissioners know that we have.
Yes.
Because I don't know how you can make something come up to codes that have changed over 20 years from when something was built, if it's sufficiently.
He sent me the blueprints, I couldn't even read them, that's all we did. I was had a magnifying glass, was trying to blow it up, look at the bottom up to read what the trash
You know
rack
what I
was.
mean? If it passed inspection and it's serving its purpose,
Yeah.
normally you don't have to upgrade those things until you have new and changes, additions, growth.
Sounds like he's trying to make a name for himself.
Yeah, he's new, he's out of college, young kid.
What's
So
impressive
common
about it.
sense may be needing to be, and that's something I feel that we need to advocate for ourselves to the county, because if we're having this problem, other municipalities and other people are having that problem.
Yeah, I don't think the government should sit and give another government. So.
maybe not be stirring those waters just yet, because we still need the county for a lot of things.
Yeah.
But we're like begging and pleading to get.
Well, I know, and I
approval
just
on,
noticed
so-
we paid them like $95,000 for permits, so, you
No,
know what I mean, yeah.
We did not, we had to give them a check for that, we should get that money back.
Okay.
Okay. Moving right along. Approve resolution 2025-01, amendment of resolution 2404 zoning fee schedule.
So this is on the agenda because it all started when someone contacted Drew about wanting to develop the Kefner property and that we would have to move the pump station. So we have these water and sewer models that WRA did for us back when Paul was here. And we paid over $200,000 for these models. And so Drew expected that, or I think he expected that when we asked WRA to run how the pump stations could be moved, he didn't expect to pay a large fee, but the invoice came back, or the proposal came back for $25,000. So it prompted an investigation into why we would be paying for this and, you know, how was this all originally planned when Paul had set this in motion. So I found that back in 2021, the BMUC had recommended to the mayor and council to impose a fee on developers for using our model. First of all, it was put into our ordinance that in our APFO that developers have to use our model to work out the capacity. And then what was supposed to be implemented was a resolution for the fees that the developers would have to pay to use the model. As I said, the BMUC recommended, the mayor and council approved imposing a $1,500 per EDU fee. So I drew up a resolution and was going to present this for approval. But due to some discussion that's been going on with some of the BMUC council member, well, the liaison and also Eric, and just that they were still a little muddy on this and it's been a few years, I think that this needs to be tabled until the BMUC has a chance to discuss it, which would be at next week's meeting. It was already on the agenda, and just to make you guys aware of what it is and a little bit of the backstory for it.
So my next question while you're discussing more is, so, I mean, like, we're trying to recoup what they're charging us,
That was
right?
Paul's intention, I believe.
Yes, and I know that was our intention too, so I was wondering how it all kind of started. Did somebody complain or what was going on? But then again, if they start charging us more, because, you know, 2025 prices and 2026 prices, are we gonna have to be changing this? Or is there a way to word it, you know what I mean?
Well, I had quite a lot
You have a lot
to
on
say
it,
about this, but based on what Rachel said, we just need to table all of these next items, all of them, all the little circle bullets, send it back to the BMUC. There's a lot of holes in this thing, a lot of holes. And one,
Yeah, all of the things underneath there are just supporting
Discussion that
documents.
was going up, that's how I
Correct.
interpreted it. Okay, I didn't think they were action
yeah,
items. I
so,
thought they
so,
were, they
so
were
for
they were
example,
discussing how we got to here.
Right.
yeah, so for example, just real quick, there's a lot of talk in here about 3 or more are considered to be a development. Well, we can't charge H&H that wants to build 3 more units.
Right.
The guy up on the hill that already did it,
Yeah.
the guy at 50 St. Paul Street, we're gonna charge them all an additional $1,500 on top of our water and sewer tap fees?
Per
I don't
tap.
think so, per tap.
Per tap.
Per tap, right, I don't think so. And, there's, the last piece of the puzzle here, where they actually have the fees laid out. They've made a mistake thinking that the only people who are going to develop are people that have this property that's been annexed. Well, the guy beside me's been annexed for 50 years. He's gonna build 48 units. He should pay the fee if it passes. The same for Dean South, which is not listed on this sheet. So there's a lot of loopholes. We've all learned more since 2021.
Yeah.
We just need to pass it back to the BMUC, and I'll guarantee you, Tony and I will be there and be writing her over.
Is that a motion, Eric?
That's a motion.
Yeah,
Pass it
I'll
back to the
second.
BMUC.
We have a motion, a second to table this and send it back to the BMUC for review and come back with their recommendations.
All the bullets?
All the
Everything,
little bullets,
yeah.
Okay, the whole thing. And I guess to follow up, well, did we need to say aye first? Or?
Well, it's gonna call for a vote.
Yeah, I got a motion and a second. Any other discussion? Hearing none, Oh,
Well,
sorry.
go ahead, no.
Hearing none, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, the same, abstained, motion carries.
Okay, now, Drew, the resolution 2024-04 that has been executed,
Yes.
right? The $130 fee is on there per EDU, but we haven't been even charging that.
No, I didn't know what it was. I asked at the
So-
time, I think that was the third or fourth month I was here.
Yeah.
And you all said, that's the hydraulic bottle feel, that's gotta stay, because I was gonna strike it out.
I'm not criticizing. but-
No, but no, it was just that I didn't know what it
We
was.
haven't even been doing that, so.
But to back that up, I have no idea where $130 came from, because Paul proposed 231.
Yeah.
Council approved 1,500, I don't even know where 130.
So we just need to straighten this whole mess up.
We still don't have a complete understanding.
Well, and also, again,
Which we're trying to get that.
Paul tried to enact this, and then we had staff changes and all this stuff. So like the whole thing just got lost.
I mean, it goes back to.
Which is kind of what happens with our ordinances. Some are posted on the website, but then
We're working on
they're
it.
not, yeah, which is
Drew is
just.
working on getting them all drawn up and packaged nicely. In
We
his
can
spare
wrap that up in more time.
I understand.
It was sent to the attorneys for drafting, so.
Oh, wow.
Okay, thank you, folks. Anything else come before the council? Young man, you have any questions? You sure? Did we confuse you tonight?
Confused me.
Okay, moving on to commission reports. Park board, Rick?
Okay, we had a meeting January 22nd, and yours truly completely forgot about it. So, thank you, Rachel, for being there. I have the notes. Meetings were called to order by Chairperson Schnackenberg at 7 o'clock. The meeting was, minutes were read and approved, second, blah, blah, blah. Unfinished business, Old Time Christmas update. The event was a success, but because of the weather, not many people attended. 120 treat bags were made and 75 were given out. Cost of the bags was $144.41, and Santa was paid $75. Crane Ice donated 1 bushel of apples, and Wise donated cookies and hot chocolate mints. And the Scout Troops 20 and 2119 helped with the setup of the luminaries. So thank you guys. It's appreciated. It was cold down there too.
It was.
And Marilee and I, we passed out a lot of candy.
Yes, she did. Ricky passed out a really lot of candy.
Yeah, everybody else, here you go. Tree board update. Boonesboro will be getting 25 20-gallon red maple trees from the state. They will be picked up March 15th and planted early spring. Arbor Day and stream cleanup update. The event will be April 27th from 1 to 4. More information later. Disc golf, there is no update. Family game day update. The event is hosted by Greensburg Town Alliance and will be May 3rd. No information at this time, but it will not impact the Trout Derby. Under new business, Trout Derby, May 3rd. The trout has been ordered. Thank you, Kim. You need a point contact person for this event, so they said they were going to try to get a hold of you, Marilee.
They did. So I'll be attending this month's meeting.
Okay. More discussion information at a later date. Bye.
Officially, that's good.
That's right. Pollinator Hotel. Motion Jeff, second Greg, all approved of a Pollinator Hotel to be located in the garden at the park entrance beside the laundromat. This could possibly be a scout project. So there you go. Bluebird boxes. We discussed the possibility of having bluebird boxes in the park. This project needs someone to monitor and build the boxes. Excuse me. The construction of the boxes could be possibly a scout project. Boy, they're putting it all on you guys, aren't they?
Is that in line with the Monarch Butterfly Way Station?
Yes.
Oh, sorry.
Grant money. Park board discussed with our town manager projects for future POS money. Number 1 was a pickleball court. Number 2, pavilion, tables, and benches near the pond. Number 3 was a permanent dog park. Number 4 was paving stamped concrete at the gazebo. Number 5 was a small playground at Sycamore Run. Number 6 was a small playground at the development at Watts. Community parks, playground funds have been designated for the replacing the swings. And let me see here. Oops, didn't want to do that. And where's it at? Right here with the grant class cluster. And our next meeting is February 26th at 7 o'clock.
Greg, did you ever get the disc golf stuff?
Yes,
Okay,
it
so
came,
it
it came
was
what, last
delivered.
week?
Yeah, it's in my park garage.
Okay.
They just have to come put it together.
Jeez.
They're coming to put it together?
Yeah, that's what they said. They asked for a place to put it together, so we stuck it down in the park garage in the big part. We moved a couple
Yeah.
tractors around for them.
It's been sitting there a while, hadn't it?
No, I just got it last week.
Just last week.
Yeah.
They were talking about where to put it.
One question, the stream bank cleanup, or the stream cleanup is April 22nd, you said, 1 to 4?
That was April 27th.
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 Okay, 27th, okay. And then, Greg, can we lower the level in the stream?
Yeah, we can pull the brakes out.
Because the last time when we helped, it was like way too deep. I mean, I don't have waders, but I have galoshes, but we couldn't get in parts of it because of
Yeah, we pull the brakes out once a week, so we'll just leave them out, and then you'll be walking in water about
Yeah.
2-3 inches.
That would be really helpful.
Yep.
Okay, thank you.
Do they have anything?
You never wore galoshes?
Thank you, Rick.
Yes, sir. Thank
DMHC,
you for your
Tony?
Sure.
Where's, that's what this was?
BMUC last met on January the 15th. We had no public comments under old business, the Schaefer Park well. Phillips was scheduled to work on that the 27th and 28th of January. We know what that's at right now. They're coming back soon. Reservoir updates. We've had some drawings received, and mostly they were sent back with comments, but most of those drawings are just for administrative tasks that are being completed. And they did have a meeting scheduled with Potomac Edison to relocate the power line. Town planner, town manager, and Superintendent Shoemaker were to tour Middletown Reservoir. HRI had filed a request with Washington County to shut down Boonesboro Mountain Road during construction. The Crestview water pressure reduction, town planner was reviewing 60% completed drawings from WRA. This project will need to be completed as the new reservoir comes online. There was a request from the BMUC to have extra space in the PRV vaults, which are the pressure reduction vaults, for future metering projects like we've been talking about in the past with the, help me out, Eric, the.
Zone metering.
What is it?
Zone
Zone metering.
metering.
Thank you, there we go. The controlled growth plan, it was agreed to keep that on the agenda as old business. BMUC members were asked to bring thoughts and ideas to the February meeting. Town manager will add to the agenda on the mayor and council workshop for discussion as well. Fletcher's Grove well was discussed. So there's not really anything able to be done there until we have increased permitted capacity. And we can't get that until we resolve our water loss. So that's just something else I'm keeping an eye on. Under new business, the water sewer hydraulic model, town planner stated that with the development of the Kufner Farm, there was discussion with the developer to move the Route 34 pump station. Town planner stated if we move the force main, it would be beneficial to upgrade the 1973-year-old pump station. Town planner contacted WRA to use the water model. There was going to be a price that we were going to be required to pay. We're in discussions with that. After reviewing the RFP, we need more clarity, and that's going to happen with WRA. Review of the water and sewer connection fees. We reviewed our current fees that we're charging, and after Comparing with neighboring municipalities, it was determined that there's no increase being recommended at this time, that our prices are in line. There was also a comment, should we charge out-of-town customers a different rate? No action was taken on that. The Fletcher's Grove surcharge, it was decided that Superintendent Greg Huntsberry would run a camera through the system to correctly identify the concern and advise how to move forward. We meet again on February the 19th at 6 p.m. right here, and all are welcome.
Sorry, this is not just fine. Do we want to send maybe letters to the homes in the area where your sewer backup happened the second time? Because I know we posted on Facebook and put in the newsletter about
That might be a good idea.
You know
I
what I
was
mean?
thinking
Just
that.
a targeted little.
Right.
We can't
area.
identify
I'm
a
just
house.
trying to think, you know what I mean?
The houses it could have
We
possibly.
either need to like figure out
contributed
what's
to
causing
that.
it, or you're gonna
Especially the
just
flushable wipes is what it
deal
is, but I
with
mean, you
it.
can't do nothing to them, most people don't know.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying, maybe a targeted letter in that area, say, hey, we've had this happen now, you
Twice.
know, more than once, and it's due to this, you
Things
know,
you
please
can't
don't
put
be
down.
a.
Yeah, things you can't put down.
Yeah, I
Good
don't know,
idea.
I'm just thinking like, you know,
We heard it.
sorry, just thought about it when you're talking about it there again. 'Cause
Not a
You're
bad
probably gonna be
idea.
back there again.
Anybody have any questions of Tony?
Mm-mm.
I do, sir.
Do you have any idea where it's coming from?
St. Paul Street, down through there somewhere. St. Paul Street turns, it goes down through between Ford and Orchard, it dumps out in Orchard. So our camera, you can't look sideways with it. I can stick a camera up in there and I can just see the wipes. I don't know where laterals are coming from, but they do have cameras. You can look up
I'm
people's
gonna check
laterals.
this lady's house.
Okay.
Can we
So
put
you don't have
screens
to
on the
say it doesn't
loud?
have any rights. She's heard, she's not doing it.
It's actually, I mean, it's cost us a couple $1,000s each time it happens.
Well, that's what I'm saying, like, we're gonna have to, I'm just trying to figure
Like-
out, you know what I mean?
You were saying it's the upper part of
Coming
St.
from the
Paul
upper,
Street.
yeah.
If it's a new problem, I just thought, you know what I mean, I know we put it in the newsletter, we put it on Facebook, but maybe if we send to say, hey, this has been happening in this area,
Like
please.
from Jameson's house down?
Yeah, I would do it from like Kim's, from Lincoln Avenue down that way,
Yeah.
where it separates, comes from Lincoln all the way down St. Paul and turns, comes out on the Orchard.
This is the first time.
No, it just happened like 2 months ago.
I was saying, right on top
We,
of it.
we need to get something out to
So,
these
just a
those
thought, like
residents.
a just.
That's not a bad idea, send out a letter to the houses. Okay. Planning Commission.
Thank you, Kim.
Yes, sir. So we had not met for a couple of cycles, but we did meet then on January 28th. It was the first meeting for our new member, Miss Jackie Piro. And it's quite clear to see that she has experience in this area and she's gonna be an asset to that commission. We've already talked about a couple of things here. There was discussion about the council needing to convene a meeting with respect to the McElwee Road, all that. We already talked about that with DNR. It was mentioned that the Uxbury brothers have the contract that they'll start working on the south drainage system out there that comes down by Canode Circle there. Tony was there when we talked about the comprehensive plan, the ongoing work. It was mentioned that for FY 25, for this current fiscal year, that Arrow will need maybe 10 to 15K more. So Tony had taken that note and I think Rachel made that note as well. You were there, weren't you? I forget.
No, Rachel.
Rachel wasn't there?
Oh, thanks. I have
I
it.
didn't answer.
I have it in my.
So anyway, I gave Tony that task to find the money. As far as the comp plan, there is a rough draft coming forth in February. I guess we'll see that at the next meeting, right, Drew? February meeting. We talked about the, just under other stuff that comes up, I'll say, there's always like a free-for-all in there. Other stuff just comes up. Who owns the stormwater ponds? I think we've already talked about that here. So, that's moving along as it should. And really, that was about it. It was a short meeting, and we will meet again on February 25th.
Thank you, sir. Anybody have any questions of Eric?
Yeah, I have a question. So we got this staff report for the town farm. Are we gonna put that on workshop meeting? I mean, should that go before the planning commission so that they can give us
Well,
input?
that topic, I'm glad you asked, that wasn't on, we didn't talk
Well, I
about
just,
it.
you know what I mean, I just like don't want it to be unaddressed,
Just
like we have
under-
a staff
just under
report, so
other
what's their
stuff that
next
comes
step?
up.
Yeah.
The emails that a couple of us had seen and I chimed in on, I'm just waiting to see the appraisals, we were to get 2 appraisals.
Oh, I didn't even think we decided to go that far.
Yeah, I don't think we're.
No, I thought we just had a
I
staff.
think that I mentioned that we would get at least 2 appraisals, but I wasn't gonna go ahead and do that without us really having,
Decided
you guys
where we
having
wanna
one.
go,
That's
yeah.
gonna be a couple $1,000 to get appraisals, do we really wanna do that? And if so, who's responsible for paying for that?
Well, so what's the question? I'm not sure I can.
Well,
answer.
I kind of, me, from reading the staff report, to me, I would think we would want the planning commission's opinion on whether that's something, since it was in economic development zoning and not farm zoning. It sounded to me like, you know, the tax revenues and building things there is more profitable to the town than farm.
I agree.
You know what I mean?
When
I didn't know, that's what I'm asking, I don't know exactly what the next step was. I felt like, you know, instead of it just being on us, we should probably have planning commission's opinion, and then we have a staff report, and then we discuss if you wanna get appraisals, or if we're not into that
Well, you'll have to
at
help
all.
me understand why you think the planning commission would even want to weigh in. I mean, their purview is to approve site plans and such.
Well, because of the comprehensive plan, because since we're into doing the comprehensive plan, if the comprehensive plan is thinking of changing that to farm,
We can certainly put
then
it
that
on
makes
the-
it more
You can
of
get their
something you want
opinion.
it to
We can
sell.
certainly put it on the agenda.
You know what I mean, if it's something that they're still envisioning being, you know, an industrial area or business area, then.
So I was planning on,
Just
I was
my
planning on
question.
having this on the workshop
Okay, so
agenda.
that's fine.
The
I just
workshop
didn't
is
know
the
what
day
was going on.
before the planning meeting, so
Gotcha.
why don't we tentatively have it on the planning agenda, but
And
you
then
guys
put it
can
on our workshop
discuss
in
it,
March.
and then if you need to talk about it at planning, or we need to
I
talk
just
about it.
didn't know what the next step was, I didn't want somebody to do a staff report and then just kind of
I
like,
felt like it was more of a workshop.
perfect, that's all I wanted to know, is where.
So it might
it's
not
on
even get to the
next.
planning commission.
Okay.
Talk about
So it'll be on the workshop agenda.
Yes.
Yeah, that's what it just went to, what our next steps were before we.
Okay. No other questions of Eric, we'll move on to EDC. Ray?
Yeah, no recent meetings. Next meeting is on the 26th, Wednesday, 8 o'clock, right here. There is talk of setting up the next networking event, either breakfast or some kind of event. That will be in March. There's a lot of chatter amongst the members about inviting the new owners of the McDonald's to the next meeting.
A little premature.
Before I could launch, Terry shut that down. What's that?
As long as they bring breakfast.
Yeah, we're having big grills. So Terry shut that down, that that's not appropriate, you know, thing that let's, you know, let's wait premature, bring them to a network event. If we're having like a public event, we would come talk to McDonald's, that's something we should do, not a networking event, so, you know.
Is that at 8 o'clock or 9 o'clock?
8 o'clock.
After the EDC go through the drive-through.
Yeah, go through the drive-through, get the hamburger. So they're not gonna have the McDonald's owners come and talk at the next, networking meeting, they'll have to find somebody else. Tyler Hornbecker wants to start a Rotary Club in town.
He wants to do what?
Start a Rotary Club. Yeah, I don't know what the Rotary Club does. My wife told me to collect old eyeglasses, I said, no, that's the Lions.
That's the
Lions Club.
So I really don't know what the Rotary Club does, but
Yeah,
If you have a
I'm all
nice
for
vision, don't ask me.
the, Keysville has one, don't they? I thought they did.
I don't.
Keysville,
we had an option.
there's one in Fairplay.
Isn't their biggest event the Mummers Parade? Aren't they involved with that?
No, that's the
Yeah,
outstation.
the outstation.
Bull and oyster roast?
Yeah.
That's Rotary. Bull and oyster roast. It's a business and it's a club. How it started.
They're having an event this week or next, is it this week?
Boil,
Next-
bull and oyster
next-
roast.
Next Sunday, not this Sunday, but the following Sunday.
Tyler's having over here at Talon Studios.
Yeah, Talon wants us to talk about, have a Rotary Club meeting, have a,
Yeah, they're having a small meeting.
Planning, we
'cause-
need to bring about, bring a branch of the Rotary Club. And I honestly don't know. I'm talking to Colin and I don't know.
There's three of them right here. Figures
Anything
down,
else,
showers
sir?
down, and
No, that's it.
That's it?
Thank you.
Thank you. Anybody have any questions of Ray? Thank you, sir. Environmental, Terry?
We didn't have a meeting since our last meeting. It's supposed to be tomorrow, Wednesday night, but it might be canceled for snow.
Okay.
I have one more thing, I'm
Yes,
sorry.
ma'am.
Chris Hawkins, we're
Yes.
gonna do a proclamation invite her to a meeting.
When do we want to do that?
I think we'll do that at the March Mayor and Council. meeting.
Okay.
Or
I
no,
just didn't want it to get
yeah,
forgotten.
March, yeah, that's a good idea.
Okay.
I already have
I
one
think
made.
that'll be
just
done
need a
in,
date.
that'll be done at Mayor
We
and
might have to
Council.
ask Annie when it's due, because I don't think, or JR, because one of them will have to drive,
Yeah,
or she's
one of them
allowed
have
to
to
drive
drive.
after dark.
Oh, no.
Or one of us can pick her up.
We don't want Chris to drive after dark.
Yeah, she changes from Chris to Crash.
Oh,
Wow.
He does that sometime during the day.
They pull behind my truck. That
Okay.
thing knows her very well.
Anybody else have anything to come before the council tonight?
I see Chris on. Okay.
Audience? Hearing none. Do I have a motion to adjourn?
I'll make a
Yeah,
motion.
her.
We have a motion. Do I have a second?
Second.
We have a motion and a second to adjourn. Any other discussion? Hearing none. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, the same. Abstained. Motion carries. Thank you all.
How does staff like the meeting? Was it what expected? Was it too